My name is Denny Luby. I'm going to demonstrate the crown bark graft today. You use the crown bark graft when the scion wood and the rootstock are two different diameters. You can also use it when you have one variety and you want to change to another. For example, when you want to change your forte field to a half field. That was done a few years back, many times. You do it when you want to put 3 or 4 different varieties on one rootstock, or you want a rejuvenated tree, a large tree, you want to bring it down to have fresh growth. So to do that, we want to separate the cambium. The cambium is the growth portion between the bark and the wood. That's the green part right there. That is 1 cell thick, and we're going to separate it. The way you do that is when the wood is slipping, we will run our knife.
Let me move to this position. Okay.
Into the wood, or up to the wood, and twist it. When you twist it, the wood separates right there. And to see what that looks like, I have a piece here that, this is the piece. Right there, we've separated it. That's the cambium. Half the cambium is here, and half the cambium is there. We just separated it. So what we're gonna do is take a piece of scion. This is a flower bud. And there is a tendency for a flower bud to push more than a growth bud. It sends a message to the roots. It says, send me nourishment. I'm going to make a fruit. And so this will get more attention from the rootstock than a growth bud would. And I use Parafilm M to wrap these. You can pull this off because behind every flower bud is a growth bud. So this flower will come out, it will fall off, and the growth bud will come up behind it. So if you look on the internet, you will find they say your scion has got to be the size of a pencil, the length of a pencil, and have a bunch of buds on it. I prefer fewer buds. The less buds you have, the more chance you have for them to dry out. I have exposed the cambium right here on both sides and right there, up here and down there. And I did the same thing here with that cut. That one, I broke that one, but I'll show it again. Insert the knife and twist it. And I've cut one of these a little bit wider, not a lot, just a little bit. And slide it right in the little crack there that I just created. Bring it down so I have as much cambium contact as I can. And from there, I will wrap it with plastic tape. The Parafilm tape is up here. This is plastic gardening tape. Home Depot has green. They have 1 inch and they have 1/2 inch. And this is from Orange County Farm Supply. They have white and sometimes other colors. I am going to screw this down tight. And tie him over here. like that. This is the rootstock growing in the ground. This is what we want. Don't let anything grow down here. This rootstock wants to replace its own genetic material. It doesn't want to feed this. So we're going to force it to. Now this can dry out, and what we use for that is Henry's 107, or one of the things we can use. Henry 107. This is Henry's 107. Home Depot has it for $11 or $12. You need 107. It is an emulsion. It's water-based, not petroleum-based. And most tree sealant is petroleum-based. So check if you're not going to go with this one, check to make sure it says that it's water-based. Most of them say petroleum-based. Petroleum-based will soak in and kill your graft. This, what we do is, first we'll put it in a mustard bottle, squirt it on top here and seal it up. We have a picture of it already sealed and growing right here. This is the Henry's 107 up here. This graft also needs to be staked. You'll see a stake right here. This can grow up to 10 feet in one season, and the first wind that comes along is going to blow it over. So I've seen those happen. So that's why this is up here, just tying it loosely so it doesn't get blown over. That's about it. With this, you can do several grafts. Do this again. Put one there. Put another one over here. That one's not separated as well. And just go along and make a bunch of those and cut a bunch of scion and put in. Now, over in the garden over there, I have Queen, Surprise, and on the other side is Lamhas. And when I bought that tree about 25 years ago, it was a Gwen. And now there's no more Gwen left, but that's what I have on that stump. For picking scion wood, I mentioned the growth buds, or the flower buds. There's this tree here is actually producing flower buds this year. Usually they alternate bear, you get a few flower buds and a growth bud, but this is last year's growth. And this is very good too. This is called a wheel, and it's got a half a dozen or more buds right there. You can pick that down as low as you want. The smaller the piece, the less likely it will dry out. So I go for 3 or 4 buds when I'm doing something like this. And here, I'll use as short a piece as I can. Once again, I will wrap it with Parafilm M. And I'll say again, you don't need to take this off. Use about an inch of that. So this comes right down to a point. It's relatively thin. This is a little fatter. I'm going to put that right in here. Just like that. I'll put another one over here. You need to do this graft when the wood is slipping. What I mean by slipping is sometimes it sticks there and it won't separate from the wood. The bark won't separate from the wood. I've seen grafters come in here and go switch, switch, and oh, it's good. Also seen them put it in their mouth. Now, before you do your grafting, you sterilize your tools. I use, it's not here now. I use alcohol, and 90% alcohol. You can also use 90% rubbing alcohol. And you can also use Lysol or diluted bleach. And I don't want the white pieces on my pants, so I don't use bleach very often. Now, when you're cutting scion wood, you want the bottom flat and the top pointed, like this, so you know which way to orient. Which way to graft it. So there's no bud there, so I'm going to cut that off. But I have a bud here, and this one I'm going to cut off. This one's only going to have 2 buds. Skinny little piece there, and pushed all the way in. And once again, more plastic tape. I can use this from Home Depot. Plastic tape has to come off after about a year for avocados. For stone fruit and apples, sometimes it's they need to come off in 6 months. You'll notice the trunk starts bulging out here, and it's not getting the nourishment up to scion. And once again, Henry's 107 over the top there. Now, if it's out in the sun, we throw some leaves on top of it. Henry's 107 is black, so it'll attract the sun and really heat up the stump. So if you throw leaves on top of it to prevent the heat from destroying the grafts, this should be in the shade or put a paper bag around it, something to prevent it from getting direct sunlight. The problem with the paper bag, you got to make sure nothing's growing down here, and quite often you'll see another one start growing up right out of the corner of that. Not even realize it until it's too late. What else can I say about these?